Welcome. There have been many updates to the recruiting process in the Canadian Armed Forces in recent months, one of them being the launch of the new online application portal. Many improvements have been announced, such as being more mobile friendly, eliminating the need for the GC key to log in, electronic uploading of essential documents, as well as overall more user-friendly and streamlined interface. So today, after 20 years of service, I will be applying to the Canadian Armed Forces on my phone, and I will be giving you some tips and tricks along the way. So let's jump right into it. Okay, we'll start out by going to forces.ca, and there's lots of different ways that you can find this, but I would start by just hitting the Apply Now button here at the top, right on the home page. All right, so first off, it's going to remind you of the eligibility criteria. So you must be a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. You must be at least 17 years of age. I'll also mention that for the reserves, if you have parental consent and you're still a full-time student, you can join at 16 years of age. You must have completed at least grade 10 or 24 credits in Quebec. Some more information here about submitting your application. Keep scrolling, and here we go. Start application now. Okay, enter your email and password to sign into your existing account. I do not have an existing account. I'm a new user, so let's register. Terms and conditions, I'm over 16. I've completed grade 10, and I'm not a robot. Okay, please enter the authentication code you recently received from your email linked to this account. There it is. Here's my email. Activate account. Oh, I have to set security questions. Favorite color. Blue. Oh, I'm giving away all the gold here. How about military branch? Navy all the way. Reserve. I'm not a robot. Okay, so far, a little bit arduous, but hopefully we'll be into the application soon. Am I missing something? Oh, this is too short. Okay, military, let's do naval reserve. Okay, it's working. Okay, signing in again. We're still cooking here. I've been recording done a timer. We'll get a timer up on the screen. Please enter the authentication code again. Okay. And I'm still not a robot. They keep asking. Wrong authentication code. So they must have sent me a new email. Let's check. They did. All right. Okay. But we'll get there. Preferred method of multi-factor. Oh, let me do the grid. Don't want to have to get these emails and type in the thing. Great. Proceed to application. Well, that took a few minutes, but it's still better than the GC key. If you're still watching this video, let's get into the application. Okay, we are Bloggins, OS Bloggins. That's for ordinary seamen, and that's what it was when I joined. And I was born on Christmas. Gender diverse, man or woman. All right. Highest level of education. Bachelor's degree. Official language, English, English, English. Great. I did recently get a comment on one of my videos asking if you could do testing in either official language, and the answer is yes. And right there it asked you one of the first questions of the application, which language do you prefer? So you can select French and do testing in French if you prefer. Have you ever been a member of the Canadian Armed Forces? I am just going to say no, because I want to keep it simple and I want to do an application as a first timer here. Are you applying for a trade for which you were previously qualified? No. I am a Canadian citizen. I am going to give them the address of HMCS Chippewa here. 1 Navy Way. Bloggins at 1 Navy Way. Here we go. HMCS Chippewa phone number is 204-943-7745. Call it for recruiting. I think it's the first thing in the menu is recruiting. So all these questions here are part of the security clearance. Oh, it says it right at the top. Please answer these questions truthfully about foreign matters. A full security clearance screening may be required, which can take between 6 to 18 months, depending on how many countries need to be contacted. So this is great that it's giving you the information right up top. Usually these questions in the previous application process, we would ask in person in one of the first appointments, and these are the questions that determine if you need to do the full security clearance screening. We called it the pre-secure screening, and yes, it does take 6 to 18 months. So if you have all no's here, your security clearance is going to go faster. Employment equity, sure. Oh, it's going to ask me more questions. No, I am not an Indigenous person. If you are an Indigenous person, you should look into the Indigenous entry programs. In the Navy, we have the Raven program, which is a fantastic program. You should check it out. All right, working away here. Pretty easy so far. Do you have the legal right to work as a doctor or dentist in Canada? No. If you'd like to be considered for other programs, please select no. Are you only interested in subsidized education? If you would like to be considered for other programs, select no. I think that this is asking me this because when it asked me initially about my highest level of education, I put that I had a bachelor's degree. So it's assuming that I'm applying for subsidized education officer program. But I want to be eligible for all programs. Actually, I'm strongly leaning towards the Naval Experience program because I think that that's the best entry program available right now. The only thing wrong with the Naval Experience program is that it's so great that other people who join in regular entry programs think it's unfair. I'm interested in part-time, and I'm interested in Navy. There you go. This is probably the most important part. It's going to help your application be directed to the right place. And you might not be sure which one to select, full-time or part-time. A great example is the Naval Experience program. I could be interested in joining the reserves and being a part-time service, but the Naval Experience program is a full-time program. Which one do I click? I don't know. So what I always tell people is complete the online application process, and as soon as you're done your online application, contact the recruiters directly. Once you complete your application and it's in the recruiting system, the recruiter can easily adjust and make changes. Like if you clicked the wrong thing, or you changed your mind, or you didn't understand the entry program, you weren't sure which one that you should select, the recruiter can help you out. You can talk to them, figure out the right answer, and they can adjust it for you. So just don't sweat about it too much, and don't let making your decision be a barrier to completing the application, because it is very easy to change and update once you get in contact with a recruiter. Do I have a unit recognition code? I do know the Chippewa one, but I'm not going to put it because I feel like the average person wouldn't know. So let's just say no, I don't know what it is. Do you know the name of your reserve unit of interest? Let's say no. I just saw an ad for Naval Experience program and I want to join it, but I don't know anything about the Naval Reserves. Okay, this is great. It's giving you a little description of officer and non-commissioned member. So an officer would normally start as an officer cadet while learning about planning and management, no matter what job they choose. They will have leadership responsibilities early in their career. Eventually, an officer might lead important organizations with the help of non-commissioned members. To become an officer, you usually need a bachelor's degree, but there are also education programs that you can work towards one. For example, in construction, an officer might work as an engineer or an architect. Also, in the reserves, we have the reserve entry plan for officers, which, because reserves is part-time, you can still be a full-time university student earning your degree while you start service part-time in the reserves. So you can apply if you haven't completed your degree yet, as long as you are enrolled in a bachelor's degree program. Non-commissioned member in the military often starts as a private or sailor third class in the Navy and does mostly technical work. As they gain experience, they can be promoted and start supervising others. Over time, they may also become a key advisor to the officer they work with. To become an NCM, you generally need a high school education. In construction, for example, an NCM might start a career as a carpenter, electrician, or plumber and work their way up to being a foreman or project supervisor. All right. Well, let's stick with NCM. I want to join the Naval Experience Program as an NCM is my goal. All right, here we go. Occupational preferences. Tell us about your previous occupational preferences. Part-time NCM. For the following applicants, reserve part-time applicants. 2, skilled applicants are previously qualified Canadian Armed Forces members who is reapplying in the same trade. That's a skilled applicant. And I'm glad that they explain that here because I would get a lot of questions about that in the past. Skilled entry plan specifically applies to a member who is reapplying in the same trade with previously qualified Canadian Armed Forces training. And then you got medical and dental applications. Okay, so it gives you a nice explanation there. Please choose the job you want from the list below. Regular force, full-time applicants. Please select up to 3 jobs that interest you. Okay, it's asking me to select jobs, but I want the Naval Experience Program, and I saw an ad that says I don't need to choose my occupation until the end of the program. I wonder how I do that. Okay, let's check the menu here. Did I make a mistake? Enrollment employment type. Okay, I see some little symbols here. What are these stars and things? For a cook. Oh, it's going to take me away here. Let's see. Oh, it brings you to the description. That's great. Okay, so the symbols are for the signing bonus and the accelerated pay increment. Is that other one still there? No. Okay, so we have the little star. We have, what is this? Is that a piece of money? That's the signing bonus, I'm guessing. And then we have the arrow, and I'm going to guess that's the accelerated pay increment. So I'm not sure what the star is. Maybe that means in demand. The dollar bill, I think, is the signing bonus, and the arrow is the accelerated pay increment. Okay, so signing bonus is offered and accelerated pay increment. Let's learn more about that. I want more information on the signing bonus. Okay, paid education, that's different. Competitive salary, that's different. Recruiting allowance, I want to get into that in a minute. Pay rates, I want to know about the signing bonus. When it says signing bonus, I think it's referring to the new recruiting allowance. There are several occupations that now receive the new recruiting allowance. Let's take a look. A recruiting allowance is $10,000 upon completion of basic military qualification. So it's basically a signing bonus, except you don't just get it for signing, you have to successfully complete basic military qualification to get it. That makes sense. I'm not going to pay you $10,000 just for you to drop out. You have to graduate. Next up, $20,000 once qualified in occupation. So after basic training, there would be additional training courses specific to your occupation. Once you complete those training courses and you're qualified in your trade, you're going to receive an additional $20,000. That's a pretty good deal. And then finally, $20,000 upon completion of 6 years of continuous service. And here's a list of all the occupations that qualify for that $50,000. But I don't see cook on there. So that means that cook, the signing bonus must have referred to something else. When I clicked on the signing bonus link, it took me to this page. So let's go right to the top and go all the way down looking for signing bonus. Let's take a look at the new accelerated pay increment. So right here we see the base pay and then the potential pay, which would be the accelerated pay increment. So you can see that there is a potential for higher pay rates under this new program. Let's see what it says, because I'm not sure I quite understand. Accelerated pay increment. Upon the enrollment and successful completion of regular force basic training, basic military qualification, BMQ, you will be eligible for an accelerated pay increment if you enroll in designated occupations. Browse careers to find out which occupations are eligible for this offer. There's a list right above. Speak to a local recruiter to learn more about the accelerated pay increment incentive. Okay, so you are going to have to talk to a recruiter to get the details on this. So you can just see by the size of these bars that it looks like the incentive is higher for the lower ranks. So that's great. Let's go back to our application. I don't feel like we did figure out what the signing bonus for cook was. So I don't have information for signing bonus for cook. let's go back to our application, and you're going to have to ask a recruiter about that one. The website still is not perfect. I like taking pictures. Let's do imagery technician. I obviously like playing music. So we've got our occupation selected. Let's go next. Review and submit your application. Entry plan summary. No opportunity to do the Naval Experience Program. Employment type summary. Maybe it's the part-time here. Maybe I need to change it to full-time. Let's go back. Here we go. Full-time. Let's see. NCM. Let's see if Naval Experience Program is just here as one of the occupations. Ah, it is. Okay, so Naval Experience Program was not in here as a separate entry plan. It's just in the list of occupations. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, fantastic. The Royal Canadian Navy has launched a new recruitment program to give Canadians the opportunity to experience the Navy and expose them to a variety of naval trades before deciding if a career in the Navy is the right fit for them. The Naval Experience Program is a one-year term of service with the Royal Canadian Navy. It's for students looking for a gap year and or those looking to try a career in the Royal Canadian Navy and explore the available jobs, but are unsure of making a long-term commitment. Perfect. It's a one-year commitment. You get to try out different jobs and then decide at the end. So you don't have to go and choose what could potentially become a lifelong career off a list. You get the chance to go and try it out for yourself. I have an entire video on the Naval Experience Program I recommend you go and check out, and I really do think it is the best entry program in the Canadian Armed Forces right now. If I could go back to 2005 when I joined, I think I probably would have tried the Naval Experience Program. So give it a shot. So the conditional offer of enrollment, again, this was a step that we did in person in the initial appointment. We reviewed, even if people completed the application online, when they came in for their initial appointment, we would have it all printed out with all of the answers that they put, and then we would go through it together. We would sign the consent, and we would sign the conditional offer of enrollment together. So this eliminates that one step and one appointment from the process, which is great. So let's do our, here we go. OS plugins, no, I type it, all right. Submit application. All right, let's see if this works. Now it doesn't look like it asked me to upload any documents. I am guessing that will be a next step once the application has been submitted, which is a good thing. It was always my philosophy that I wanted to see an application process where the application had actually as little as possible so that it could just get through to a recruiter. And then once the recruiter has your email and your phone number, they can contact you, they can talk to you, they can give you advice, they can help answer your questions, they can help you make decisions on your career path. It's really good to make that connection. Now, the next piece of advice, and probably the most important piece of advice, this is successful, by the way. So let's jump into it. I have now successfully completed my application, and it says my processing status is 13%. So I did 13% of the job by doing the online application. Not bad. Okay, so the best piece of advice that I can give for this whole thing is once you've completed the online application, now your name is in the recruiting system, and a recruiter at a Naval Reserve Division or at a Canadian Armed Forces Recruiting Center or an Army Reserve Unit, they can see it. They can look up your name and see all your answers and have access to your file. So the best thing that you can do is contact them directly right away. Confirm that they received it. Let them know what your intentions are. For example, myself, the 8 years of recruiting and 20 years as a member of the Naval Reserve, I had a hard time finding the Naval Experience Program while I was completing the application, right? So it is very common that people actually wanted something else than what ended up on their online application. So it's your chance to explain what you want, figure out what you want while talking to an expert, and get you on the right path and get your initial appointments scheduled and get you rolling in the process as soon as possible. It's very common that people complete the online application and then they sit and wait. And yes, it is the recruiter's job to comb through all the applications that come in online and then reach out and contact those people. But sometimes if you applied for the wrong thing, or if you put part-time when you meant full-time, it doesn't end up in the right place and it can cause little delays, right? The best thing to do, contact where you want to work directly, immediately. So if you're going part-time, a reserve, in general, you're going to contact the units directly. If you're going Reserve Navy, contact the Naval Reserve Division. If you're going Reserve Army, go online and look up the Army Reserve units in your city. If you're going regular force, Army, Navy, or Air Force, they're all together in one. They're at the Canadian Armed Forces recruiting centers, and there's going to be one if you're in a large city, in your city. If you're in a rural area, you can look up the nearest one, you can find the phone number, and call them. Reach out, try to talk to a recruiter directly as soon as you can. That will get you pointed in the right direction. Okay, let's take a look at the next step. Now I've completed my online application, I want to see what this portal looks like. Assign tasks for completion. Recruiting process overview. Okay, let's take a look at this task. Please read the information below and follow any instructions. Steps to join. 5 primary steps in the application process. Number 1, submit your application. Done. Oh, well, no, not done. Submitting your application includes birth certificate, government-issued photo ID, transcripts, etc. Okay? That's the electronic document submission we talked about. We'll take a look at that. Next is the background check, reliability screening forms, criminal record check, right? This is all to get your security clearance. Number 3, employment and personality assessment. All applicants are required to complete a scored employment application form, the CEAF. And I did discuss the CEAF in my previous video, the recruiting modernization video, which you can check out. So the CEAF it's not the same thing, but it has kind of replaced the CFAT, the Canadian Forces Aptitude Test, which is no longer required. Number 4 is the medical exam, and we discussed the medical in my previous recruiting modernization video, all the changes and updates to the medical process. And number 5 is the interview. And a lot of people ask me questions about the interview. The interview is one of the things where I won't give a detailed explanation of exactly what's in the interview. It's in part of the training as a recruiter, not to tell people what the questions are. But I can tell you that there's no gotcha questions. It's nothing big and scary. It is very much a regular type of job interview, asking about your history, your work experience, your education, anything else that you think is relevant, anything that shows that you're going to be a good employee, a good member of the Canadian Armed Forces if you have volunteer work, or the same kinds of things that are in the CEAF, hobbies, sports, activities, anything that you might want to put on a resume, you can bring up in the interview. Okay, let's read this here. Looks important. To meet the demands of the Canadian Armed Forces, applications will be processed in priority based on the career and entry program selected. When you submit your application through the online application portal, you will still be able to apply to all regular force careers and entry programs. However, if you select one of those careers that we are not actively processing for, your application will be held until positions become available, or you select a career and entry program on the list. Applications from former CAF members for all careers will always be processed. We thank all applicants for their interest in a career with the Canadian Armed Forces. However, only those applicants who have completed all application submission tasks in the online application portal and who are selected for an interview will be contacted for further steps. Okay, this is really important. I'm glad we read through this. Only those applicants who have completed all application submission tasks in the online application portal will be contacted for further steps. So, a recruiter's not going to reach out and contact you. You think, oh, I've submitted my application, I'm done. You are not. Right here it says you have to complete all the tasks in the application portal. And until you do that, nobody's going to reach out to you. It is your job to complete the steps. And if you have any questions or issues in completing those tasks, you can reach out to your recruiter and they will help you. That was very helpful. Told me the 5 steps. I guess I go back to my recruiting process and return to tasks. Okay, hey, that count is completed. I read the thing. Great. Next, how to be a successful applicant. View task. This isn't so bad. I just got to read it and I get boxes checked off here. Please download the how-to guide below. Okay, downloaded in English. Once the file has been downloaded, the task will be marked complete. Return to tasks. Okay, I've done 2 tasks, but I'm still at 13%. Let's refresh here. Do I get more percents for that? No. Interesting. Application confirmation email. Congratulations on applying to the Canadian Armed Forces. We received your application. You may not be approved for further processing if the occupation you have chosen is full or if you're not a competitive applicant for your chosen occupation. All right. Let's check out this Contact Us. I want to join the Naval Experience Program and I live in Winnipeg. So I want to contact HMCS Chippewa. Let's see how easy that is. Is this still loading or is this the page? I can't tell. Must be still loading. Still waiting on the Contact Us. Okay, my AI overview is good. I have information on the Naval Experience Program here. Hey, look at that. My video, number 1. Love it. Okay, let's be more specific. How to join the Naval Experience Program. Okay, do your recruitment. I want the phone number for HMCS Chippewa, but I don't know what it's called. Can anybody tell me? Sometimes the internet isn't perfect. Well, I will tell you, the fastest and easiest way to join the Naval Experience Program is going to be to contact your local Naval Reserve Division. There are 24 in Canada, so most cities have one. Yes. Find your recruiting center. Okay. So maybe the Contact Now button on the website is the best way to go. Okay. Here's again, divided into regular force, reserve force. It can be confusing because if you want to apply to the Naval Experience Program, which is full-time for 1 year and has the option to transfer into the regular force full-time for a career, you're still going to contact your Naval Reserve Division. It will work if you contact the Canadian Forces Recruiting Center, the regular force recruiting center. They'll direct you to the right place. They'll accept your application. They will help you. But the processing, at least in Winnipeg, and I think in the majority of cities, is going to be done by the Naval Reserve Division, so going there directly is going to be the most efficient way to do it. So let's say Reserve Force and Navy, and here they all are. Well, I live in Winnipeg. HMCS Chippewa, 943-7745. Perfect. This is where I want to go. That's the phone number. Call the number. Call the number. Leave a message. Here, let's just do it, actually.
Hello, you've reached His Majesty's Canadian ship Chippewa, Winnipeg's Naval Reserve Division.
Pour le service en français, composez le 9 maintenant.
Please listen carefully as the menu options have changed. If you know the extension of the person you are trying to reach, press 3.
I don't.
For recruiting, press 1.
Oh, perfect.
Bonjour, good day. You have reached Petty Officer Corey Cook from the recruiting cell of HMCS Chippewa. Our hours of operation are Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Thank you for calling. Please leave me your name, phone number, and message. I will return your call as soon as possible. You can also reach me via email at Corey.
All right, that is Petty Officer Cook, who I worked with for years, a good friend of mine, and still work together with, just not directly in the recruiting department. We found it. We found the right place. We got to the mailbox right away. I'm recording this video on Christmas holidays. It's the only time I actually have time. So that's why he didn't answer. But if you call during business hours and not holidays, that's where you want to go. And hopefully you'll follow that same path in other cities as well. That's the number one thing you should do, contact directly. Speak to a recruiter. All right, let's go back. I got all these windows open now. Where were we? Where's our actual application? I think it's the very first one. It still is, yep. Return to tasks and options. Okay, are we still just at 13%? I want to get a couple more percent here. Let's keep going. We've completed all of these tasks. So what's next? Let's open our file status. Sure. Oh, that's the That's not an open button. That's telling me my file status is open. Let's go. Tasks and options. No, nothing to click on there. Let's go back to this confirmation email. Maybe there's something I didn't do, even though it says completed. Because I hit contact us. That's what took me off the path. There's nothing else to click on here. Let's go return to tasks and options. Oh, you will be notified by email once more tasks have been assigned to you as your file progresses. So it looks like I cannot even upload my documents until, is there another task list? No. Looks like I cannot upload my documents until until my file has been reviewed by a recruiter. Let's just check everything in the menu here and see if there's anything else that I can do. That's all the security settings there. Don't want to sign out. Let's just refresh and make sure that nothing else pops up here. Everything's still completed. Make sure my contact info is right. Yep. Oh, this is telling me, oh, this is actually really helpful. Okay, so if you are in your online application portal and you hit contact info, it's going to give you the contact info for the nearest recruiting center. This is actually the regular force, Canadian Armed Forces Recruiting Center, Detachment Winnipeg, 125 Gary Street. Here's their phone number. So because I clicked full-time in the application portal, is I'm guessing why it's putting this instead of HMCS Chippewa. But like I said, contacting either one, they'll help each other out and point you in the right direction. Okay, let's check contact us. It's probably going to take me to that same contact us page that I was already at. And what about reapply? Okay, if you hit reapply, it's going to give you information about reapplication for previously enrolled personnel. And last thing I'm going to do is check my email to see if I've received any further instructions. Oh, I received 1, 2, 3 emails. Okay. We're excited to share your e-grid. Oh, this is not what I thought it was. Keep your e-grid handy. Well, I guess I'm going to need to know these codes if I want to log in again. What do we got next? Congratulations on applying. The next steps, wait for your file review. If approved, you'll be moved on to medical and interview. If not approved, it may be because your chosen occupation is full or you're not competitive enough. And note, you will only be processed for one occupation. This occupation must match both your choices and the needs of the CAF. Preparation, explore the how-to guide. It's filled with useful tips. And if you need help, contact. And like I said before, and I'm going to keep repeating it, contact your recruiter directly. Last one. Update. A new task is available. Okay, let's hit the link to the portal and see if there is a new task. Oh, I'm going to have to go through this. Let's see if it works. Let's see if I'm going to have to use that grid. Cell B1. Okay, I do have to use the grid. I don't know, I might, then you have to look up an old email. I might switch it to getting a new email each time. Okay, B1, here we go. HXHT7Y. Completed, completed, completed. Okay, so I must have got that new task email before I completed all the tasks. My tasks are still all completed. So at this point, I need to wait to be contacted by a recruiter. That was pretty quick. That took me in real time about an hour, to be honest. And I was talking to you a lot as I went through. So maybe you could get it done a little quicker, but it doesn't seem, I feel like the previous one probably took about an hour as well. But I've also accomplished a lot more in that hour. Like I said, signing that consent form and the conditional offer enrollment, that was done in person at the first appointment. There's a couple of different things that were a part of this application that has progressed us further than the old way. It is, the mobile app here worked pretty well. The logging in and authentication part at the beginning did take a few minutes. It wasn't effortless, but it was faster and better than the GC key. And hopefully this video can help you figure out the do's and don'ts of completing the online application so you can get your career started. Thank you, and good luck with your application.